Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Urban Network podcast. I'm Hewitt Pagenstecker, founder of Amygdala Media, and the Urban Network podcast happens to coincide with the networking and referral group that occurs on Zoom on the third Thursday of each month at 5:30. If you're interested in learning more about the Urban Network podcast, seeing other episodes, or wanting to register for one of our free networking events, go to urbannetwork.biz. Now, today's guest is the lovely and impactful Teal Elisabeth, founder of Relax into Love Coaching. Teal, how are you doing today?
Oh, so good to be here. Thank you, Hewitt.
Yeah, I'm just really happy and excited to be doing this podcast with you because I know that if you want to become good at something, you have to surround yourself with people who are talented and experienced. And you have quite a way with words. I was listening to your podcast last night, the Relax into Love podcast on your website, and you're such a great communicator. You're so talented. I just hope some of that rubs off on me by the end of this episode. So,
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm so humble. No, it's been so fun getting to know you and just getting to see everything you do. And you have a way of words too, I will say, being a comedian.
thank you. I appreciate that. So, Teal, why don't you tell me and the audience a little bit about how you started Relax into Love Coaching and what your mission behind this business is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to think of myself as a spiritual love coach. And some people are like, what is that? Right? But I really support spiritual powerhouse women in learning how to get out of their heads and into their hearts so that they can relax into love with ease, both with men and with themselves. And Relax into Love as a business is something that I founded over 5 years ago to really help bring more love to the world. On a big mission, it's about really helping to balance out all the fear, the chaos, the uncertainty, the stress in the world and bring more love to the world. And I'm doing that one heart at a time with each woman that comes to me.
That's honestly such a powerful mission. I think now more than ever, people appreciate business owners and people that have mission based businesses and try to lift each other up. Um, you actually were a nomadic entrepreneur for years, traveling the world, living your dreams, starting your business. I really want to know how that experience was like for you and how that experience helped shape you into the business owner that you are today.
Whew, oh my gosh, so many things. Well, I think first, I was just realizing there's a huge other part of my mission that I forgot to even share with you, and that is not only help heal the world in terms of our hearts and bring more love to the world, but also bring more love to the earth, right? And Mother Earth. And I actually studied biology back in college, and it was a huge mission and passion of mine, and it still is, to really help heal the earth and save the sea turtles and clean the oceans and all of that beautiful mission. So it's kind of a double layered mission, right? Of not only helping heal humanity, but heal the world that we live in as well. So it is a big mission, and a lot of it has been spurred from the traveling that I've done, being able to see so many beautiful countries and recognize that although we feel very disconnected and all over the place in different countries, we all still share the same values. And that was one of the most impactful things for me, was getting to meet women all over the world and realize that at the end of the day, we all still want to love and be loved. That really is at the core of it, what we want. And so that really has just been a huge kind of, I think, push and inspiration to continue to do the work that I do and feel so called to do this work. But then also in terms of just traveling while running a business, yeah, there's so many aspects to that I think have helped me to not just be able to live out the dreams that I have and check all the boxes that I've had, but also just build up that resiliency, right? Because it's one thing to just decide, I'm going to start a business. It's a whole nother thing to decide, I'm going to quit my corporate job that's giving me a consistent income. I'm going to sell all my things and I'm going to go travel to 35 countries and hope that I have money to support myself while building a business. So it just kind of threw me in the deep end into entrepreneurship and really the strength and the resiliency to really succeed at what I do.
Absolutely. As I touched on earlier, I feel like there's no better way to improve yourself than by constantly challenging yourself. So thank you. That sounds amazing. Thanks for sharing. You are a highly motivated business owner and you work with a lot of entrepreneurial and high achieving females. And I imagine as a relationship coach, that might present some unique challenges with people having time restraints or making their business a priority. What do you think are key elements to creating a proper or a successful work life or work dating balance?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question, Hewitt. I think, when it comes to relationships and putting time into investing and learning about relationships, it's not something that naturally comes to us, right? When we think about, okay, I need to go have a successful business, let me go hire a business coach, let me go invest in business training resources, right? We have no qualms in doing that. But when it comes to having a successful relationship, once again, both with ourself and just having that beautiful self-love and feeling of confidence, but also to have that really healthy, nourishing, long-lasting partnership. A lot of times the women that I meet, they don't necessarily think to actually invest in themselves in this way, or they don't think to prioritize making time for learning how to be in a healthy relationship. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is one, just making sure that we are prioritizing not only self-care of just exercise and eating right and meditating, right, but also to be exercising the time of really going in deep and doing the self-work and the study of what it takes to clear through those fears and, erase those limiting beliefs and start to actually step into the highest version of ourselves so that we really can be in a beautiful relationship. So that's what I would say is one of
I
the
really
biggest.
do love that.
Yeah, is just prioritizing the time for it and putting aside money to invest in it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really do appreciate your emphasis on focusing on yourself to become a better partner. I think that is definitely a foundational and like important aspect to a healthy relationship. So also there's a pandemic going on right now, as I'm sure you're aware, and a lot of businesses have had to pivot and adapt to work better with like online channels or communicate virtually and socially distance. I'm wondering what Relaxing to Love has done, or like wanted to do or needed to do to pivot during this time.
It's beautiful because that was a big question for me as well. I remember back in March, we were in Bali at the time, and I was feeling this big, unrest that was starting to bubble up to the surface. And I was really recognizing this is my time where I could either run away and I could put my head in the sand and sacrifice and give in to the fear that was starting to just really take over the world, or I could really lean into it and step into being the leader that I know that I am. And that's what I chose to do. Even though I was looking to leadership too, I was like, who's going to be out here to help us, guide us through this crazy, uncertain time, right? I was like, it had this realization, like, I get to be one of those people, right? I get to be one of those leaders. And so it really, if anything, it helped expedite my leadership and the identity of how I saw myself for the world and for my community. And I was really able to kind of step into just being more present, providing more free resources, creating different types of programs and offerings that could really help women with what they were going through, and having a pulse on what was going on a global scale, but also on feeling into what my community was really needing was really a beautiful balance that I had to learn and figure out. But knowing that I could give them resources and I could provide, what it is that they needed has been a huge just kind of grounding for me now that we're kind of coming out of the pandemic and figuring it out. It's like, okay, yes, I know how to really show up when times get tough, and I'm not going to back down. And if I'm not going to back down in a pandemic, I'm not going to back down anytime, right? No matter what you're going through, no matter what situation you throw at me, I'm here for you, and we're going to get you through this. So I think it's a couple fold. My business has actually done better than ever in the pandemic because a lot of women, one, they have the time, right? They have more time in their schedule to do the inner work. And two, I think, it really allowed me to step into this more of this role for women, and hold that space for them in a time that they really needed it.
Yeah, that's really excellent that you could be there for people like that. So your business might be growing right now. It's definitely growing right now, and it might be harder to reach as many people one on one between your business growing and pandemic and social distancing standards. I'm wondering, what are you doing right now, Teal, to impact more people through coaching?
Yeah, surprisingly, actually, nothing in my business has changed. I've just been offering it more often, right? I've been opening up my schedule more to just get on calls with women and hold space for them to just be able to process and help through my business, because I've built it as a digital nomadic business. It's always been completely online, so that makes it really nice that I can be accessible to women no matter where they are in the world. So I think I almost built the business as a pandemic proof without even realizing it. But it has definitely allowed me to expand my reach and my impact by realizing that, yeah, I want to be able to offer more free trainings and more time on my calendar, and just be able to be more accessible, and realizing that there's such a need for women to have this space to come together and to process and to go deeper within themselves. So I'm leaning a lot more into doing, free trainings and, home study courses and things like that women can have more readily accessible, so that it doesn't bottleneck with me in my time. I'd say that's probably the biggest shift I'm making right now.
So you work with a lot of entrepreneurial females, and there's also some business owners and entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast. I'm curious, what you might recall as like one of the main like obstacles or challenges when starting and growing your business, and if you have any advice for people that might be in that stage in their career.
In just leaning into building a business, or how to navigate through challenges in your business?
I would say building a business, like maybe within your first couple of years of being an entrepreneur, if there's any significant obstacles or challenges that you remember or recall.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, not everyone's probably going to do it the crazy Teal way of just burning all their bridges and doing it while flying and traveling. But I will say, burning the bridges really, really helped. It was a blessing in disguise. And I remember there being a specific moment, we were in Portugal, and I had a total breakdown where I just freaked out. I had just left my job 3 weeks ago. And here we are in Portugal in this tiny little town, and we're in this little hostel, and I'm just having this moment of, oh my gosh, I don't have a paycheck anymore. I don't have money coming in. How in the world am I going to make money on my own? And it sent me into this spiral of self-doubt and just the darkness and the questioning. So for any people that are, in that process of wanting to start a business or just starting to start a business and worrying about where that money flow is going to come from, this is so normal and so natural. And I remember specifically, I literally was hiding underneath the sheets, no joke, hiding there. Spence's holding me. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? What have we done? We're thousands and thousands of miles away from anything that's familiar. And I'm just feeling so lost and so confused. And in that moment, I had this realization. I said, wait a second. I know I have skills from the last job that I did. I was a project manager. I know how to manage projects. I said, what if I were to start to leverage those skill sets and see if anyone needs help with those skill sets? And I reached out to a girlfriend of mine who also runs a successful business. And I said, hey, I just need a little bit of money to float me. Like, do you have any projects that you would need managed? And she did. And I think she gave me like $200 to do a little side project for her. But it was just that enough. It was a massive mindset shift for me to realize I don't have to depend on a job to make me money. I can make money on my own. I can fish for myself. And that shift, whatever it is, if you can find something where you can really start to just, if it's freelancing or it's helping out a friend and getting some side money that way, a lot of times just that little bit of side income can really help just shift in your mindset. I don't have to be conditioned to make money in the traditional way, right? Because I think our minds get in the way a lot of times when we're trying to do something new and outside of our comfort zone. The safety of the comfort zone is oftentimes so much more appealing that the fears will hold us in that safety and that comfort zone, even though it's actually to our detriment. Right? So leaning into that uncertainty, into that uncomfortability, right? This is, as a coach, this is where I live, is in the uncomfortability. And knowing that being uncomfortable and having all those fears coming and swirling and trying to take you down means that you're on the right track. And any of these feelings that any of you that are listening may be having around, oh crap, how in the world am I going to do this? That means you're on the right track. Right? And I wish that someone had told me that early in my journey. But picking myself up literally by the bootstraps, finding that way to get a little side income and realizing I can do this was a huge shift. And from there, everything else was able to flow.
And it's so empowering too when you do like make that leap, when you do decide to bet on yourself, and teach yourself how to fish. It's like pretty exciting and it's scary, but when you do, give your 2 weeks notice, it's like, it's refreshing to have that free time and to be like, okay, I'm betting in myself and believing in the skills that I've learned.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a roller coaster, and the imposter syndrome is real too. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people talk about. But early on, really grounding into your why can really help carry you through a lot of these fears and that uncomfortable zone of not feeling like you're good enough, not feeling like you have anything new to offer. All of those things that really try and keep us held back. If we can really ground into that why, into that bigger mission statement. No, I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to really help open up hearts to the world and heal the planet. Why would I not want to run toward that, right? Even if it's hard, even if it's scary, that really helps to kind of, I think, ground you in those hard moments.
I couldn't agree more, Teal. Well, I think we're coming up on our time here, but I really want to ask you so people know how they can best get a hold of you and learn more about Relax into Love coaching.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for having me on your podcast. It's so lovely to get to connect with you again and to be able to share some of the micro little moments of my journey and learnings on this process. If anyone is interested in just getting to know me more, learning more about my travels, or learning more about what I do at Relax into Love, you can follow me on my Instagram. I'm sure you're going to leave show notes below, right? But it's at Teal
I will.
Elisabeth.
Yep.
Beautiful, at Teal Elisabeth. Or you can look at my website, tealelisabeth.com. And I have a really fun free guide called The 8 Principles to Becoming Magnetic to Men. So for any of you single ladies looking to become more magnetic, this is for you. You can get a free download on my website as well. So I'll leave all that with you in the show notes.
Excellent. Well, Teal, thank you so much for coming on today. It was so great learning about your journey and your business, Relax into Love coaching. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned into the Urban Network podcast. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll hear from you soon.